Hi, this is Kathie from Craft with Kathie. Thanks for joining me. I've got an interesting project this evening. Going to make some wood star cutouts into rustic stars using some interesting ingredients. I've got some of my chalk paste in front of me now, the black velvet and the bark, and I'm going to give this little cutout a painting. Okay, get my sleeves rolled up and we'll get moving. Thinning down my paste with the water and mixing it up. The paint should actually glide on when I paint it with a brush, and oops, it looks like I might have added a little bit too much water there. Let me dissolve it a little bit more and test it out. I want to make sure that it is not drippy though, because that would be too thin. I'm using one technique on the larger star, but I tried something different on the smaller later on. So make sure you catch basically both recipes for doing this. I paint the edge and see if this is too thin or if it's okay and doesn't drip. I don't want it dripping down off the edges that I've already added the rub and buff to. Oops, it looks okay. Good. Yeah, I'm not really good at doing a straight line tonight. What could I say? Like I said, can't draw a straight line with a ruler. That's me. But I love to craft anyway. Okay. You just try and get around the edges here a little bit. I'm doing the edges first, and then I'll switch to a larger brush and do the center. In essence, I'm giving it a base coat of the black velvet, and then I'm going to follow it up with the bark. I actually want it to have a rather mottled look to it. I want to make sure that I've got my edges covered here very well. And yeah, I probably should have started with a paper towel. This is a bit messy, so you might want to go for gloves and have some paper towels handy around you. But it really is quite simple. It's lots of fun, and I think the end result is well worth any mess. I mean, as long as you have paper towels laying around to protect your surfaces, you're fine. It's really not that messy. You'll see. And you'll see what the extra benefit is. It really does have an advantage. It has a feature that's not what it was intended for, but I think it heightens it. So I want to make sure I have a nice thick layer here so that my ingredient can stick to it without any glue. How do you like that? Okay, with a nice thick layer of thin down paste laid down on my star, I'm going to grab that unusual ingredient. Yes, it is cinnamon. We're going to use cinnamon to turn this star into a rustic star, to turn this wood star into a rustic star. And I have to admit, I am a cinnamon freak. I even put it in my coffee. I love it. So I'm going to tap it down to get it to bond with the watered down paste. And actually my gloved fingers were a little too heavy-handed, so a paintbrush works a little bit better for this. And I'm just tapping it down so that it will bond. And then once it has, obviously, just shake off the excess cinnamon. But you could see why I wouldn't advise using a dryer to dry this. You'd end up with cinnamon all over. Hence a good idea to have a paper towel underneath just to protect your surface. Our chalk paste is water soluble, so it is easy cleanup for that, but powdery cinnamon, you have to be a little bit careful with it anyway, but well worth it. Wait till you see it. Creating another star today. I did it a little bit differently. I did not use the rub and buff on the edges yet, but probably will. And let me get my original. I followed pretty much the same format with one little exception. On the large star, I used our chalk paste, watered down, painted it with black, and then painted it with bark. Pretty kind of soupy and watery. If you can see, the edge is dried here, so the cinnamon didn't stick to it, but that's fine because it gives it more of a distressed look, so that's fine. But because I was kind of wondering how the cinnamon would stick there, with the little one, I changed my approach a little bit. Coming at you from the suburbs, live from the suburbs west of Chicago tonight. Drop me a line, let me know where you're viewing from. And we're going to add a little bit of embellishments to these stars and make a nice little holiday decoration. This little one, instead of just using the bark and the black velvet paste watered down, I actually watered down each of the pastes and then mixed in a little bit of this wood glue and dabbed it all over and then sprinkled the cinnamon. And it seemed like it dried a little bit quicker. Maybe, you know, and I wasn't so leery of using my heat dryer on it. And I think that worked pretty good. And there's actually, I think a little bit more texture with this one. So, I ran around looking for my glue gun like a crazy lady tonight. And I don't have the right glue stick, so I have to be really quick with this and get moving on it because I don't have a refill. My other ones are the smaller sticks. I'm like, okay, where's the large ones? Buried in the pit of my room that I'm rearranging that I haven't touched in probably 2 weeks. So I made these little bows, this one in the little gingham for the small star, and I'll probably shorten this up a little bit. But I want to attach the bow first, and then I'm going to put a little greenery around it, and we'll see what else. So I'm just going to put a little sprig behind it. I don't know if I like that sprig or not. Let me grab another one. And the little bow. And maybe a couple of these little berries. So I thought the rustic look for the stars was a little bit different than some of the other things that I was doing, and I thought it might just be kind of nice for a little change of pace, for a little bit of a different look. I'm going to rummage around in my big bag of pine cones and look for a little one suitable for the star. And gather up a few other things while I wait for this glue gun to warm up. Obviously, I'm having some problems with it. So basically, a little bit of foliage, some pine cones, possibly ribbon, some berries, just gathering things up that would look suitable and size appropriate for the smaller star. Getting that arranged a bit. Oh, I think the berries would look good. Let me twist a few of them together as a little accent to the pine. And boy, does that cinnamon smell delicious. That's the extra added unintentional feature of using the cinnamon to create this rustic star. It has such a beautiful smell, perfect for the holidays. Let's try this glue gun again. Whoa, finally! Hey! I'm going to have to pull off the little hot glue strings once this dries a little bit more. Oops, why did I cut those crooked? I have so much clutter on the table, I apologize, too many things out at once. So let me put this aside to dry and grab the larger star. I wanted to put a little ivy on this, on the larger one, if it's not overwhelming. I think the large one can handle it though. And look at how this has got kind of clumps the way it dried, just kind of where there was puddles. The cinnamon really stuck to it. So it really looks like it's kind of rusted. I'm gathering a little bit, a larger size embellishments, the ivy of course, and a larger bow to accommodate the larger size star. That's definitely hot. I do try to learn as I go along. What I found is using something else like a scissors, or what I think is great is like our multi-tool, because it's made out of the silicone or whatever, to hold something in place instead of your fingers when you're pressing it into hot glue is the smart thing to do. Take advantage of the tools that you have available. Protect those little digits. So I'm just arranging and gluing as I go. Check it out. Make sure things are lined up properly. You add a little bit more glue to make sure everything is down there nice and snugly. That wasn't too difficult, now was it? The stars are pretty easy to make, and adding the embellishments gives you a lot of creative freedom. Don't they make a nice little pair? So pretty easy all in all, and definitely a little bit different. The star cutouts actually come 3 to a pack, and here I've shown the large and the small. I didn't do the middle yet. That's a project for another day. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe so that you'll be notified of future postings. Thank you so much for watching. I surely appreciate it. See you soon.